It shouldn't be this bald, closeted rainbow cowboy that's 80 years old holding it up over his children's head or whatever, and trying to control them through the church and whatever else, as they just are full-blown evil whatever. So this is where, and that's also where you see these people, well, I'm not going to give it to my children, I'm going to give it to the earth and the people and whatever else, and give it to charity and whatever kind of thing going on. All right, so this is where we're being shown things and tested on multiple levels, because some of these children are being left out completely. Some of it is mentioned as ungodly amounts of money. Okay, and this is where also Rosie O'Donnell is talking about, I have $100 million, I can quit, I don't need to do this or whatever. And then also, but she's not giving whatever, so it's like, how much is it enough or whatever? And then she says $1 billion is like, how much, when are you going to stop working, at those kinds of points? Like, so that's tying into the different gods and ungodly amounts and those types of things, and where you do have this much money, like, what are you saving it up for? Is it even real wealth? And that's where they're also showing you that Elon doesn't own shit and whatever. It's all tied up to this and this and this. And then when you go back and study him, he's just some fucking puppet and person, like, that gets the credit for all those things. So he doesn't really own any of this shit for the most part. So either way, the GTA 6 and the JD Vance delivering remarks in the hometown and the Middletown tied into your Kate Middleton. We could also see the royal flush or whatever line out to where Trump's already been mentioned as king or whatever, but Harry is this offspring of an affair with the polo player that y'all can go back and look. They look just alike, all right? So you get that spectrum. We could also have a secret sister of Prince William that isn't shown, and then Kate Middleton comes in and tries to rule through little Georgie. But that's where we could see that spectrum, and then mentioning that Prince William rides a motorcycle, but he doesn't wear a helmet all the time necessarily, or whatever kind of thing, so he can crash that way. Because we're going to see a Princess Diana flip-flop mirror kind of thing going on, and that's where Elon Musk or whatever can happen. That roll over crash, the X over crash, and the X over crash is tied into your Vance, the that Vance, if he's taken out that way or whatever. We might see like 7 lights per se taken out all in one time frames on one day, and that could be tied into your GTA 6 on your Labor Day and when the banks are closed and whatever else is going to be going on. But we're on one stack to another stack, and the 280 days and the first baby and those things, a lot of times it goes 2 or 3 weeks past due. And it actually, a little side marker, but if you think of these things, and baby being taken out by the hospital, and then a majority of them being getting fed formula, and the Formula 1 racing is going to be coming, and we saw that milk being spilled, the milk look-alike, and we're in that Milky Way on one spectrum for the heavens, all right? But that container and the steel container and all those things all kind of dumped over in the crossroads in the street. So the Formula 1 and the titties, the Twin Peaks, the breast, and all that's going to be lining up. And as far as your gold mining and the autism and whatever else, because the doctor's got to go on vacation, you got to come, we got to get this coming in a couple, we might as well just take it out early. So your baby's brain development is developing this much every day, and it's like by 100-fold on the last month. So you're taking out early, and then the first baby or whatever comes, 280 is just a guesstimation. But and then they count it from your last period and all this other weird shit that makes all the numbers all off. So you don't, some of these babies are probably coming out like a month and a half early, some of them, well, on the due date. And the women coming into the salon, they're getting like smaller and smaller and smaller on the due date. It's like, where's your baby at? Either way. And then other ones surprise me. They got a good-looking big baby. You know what I mean? But the Formula One, that highly anticipated tittle, and those types of things, that racetrack, the Formula One, all those kinds of things are tying into the Iran and the NASCAR, the NASCAR, and that heliocentric and the Leocentric and the Elon and whatever. The Leo is the lion, the tribe of Judah. The lion's also, well, that's who the devil comes as, and that's where your serpent is being taught to you as the devil, but it's actually the Jesus, and he's the one who makes you as gods and gives you the eyesight and lets you know where you're at under the Lord God, under Amun-Ra, under Sodom and Gomorrah and whatever else, and rules, boundaries, and limitations, and all been turned into perverts. Everything you look at is a fucking perversion. Like, you can't even, it's all fucked up. Either way. Andrew Tate, the twins, the brothers, going in, doing bad to do good. All those kinds of things can be building up as some of us went back in the day and we saw these things, the drugs, the drug runners or whatever, using these things against women or against men or whatever else kinds of thing on that level. And some of us were there, like just dropped there for some reason, looking around like we're watching a movie, just like looking out for people and trying to help them through their fucking experience. Well, either way. So you've either been down those roads or you haven't, all right? And between the ages of, well, when I went to art school and then hair school, worked at the Taylor Publishing Company, those types of things, like I was in a whole new world because I grew up under the Baptist cult and that projection of placed by Paul and that salvation placed through Paul. And I realized that Paul, he doesn't save anything. And I realized this through the power of the Jesus. So, Jesus gives us the power to leave the religions. And you are actually in the dark ages right now through the religious spectrums. So, as a God has placed many sons, we're all sons of God, and we're all sons of America. Y'all are picking and choosing who to call evil and who to call good, all based on this image of so-called moral, which is an imposed reality of others. And we saw this basics of the 10 laws, 4 unto God, 6 unto man and the people around you. And Jesus and the prophets come with 2 laws, but y'all are being lifted up in so many laws. So, this is a fucking law. Why do we have to fucking do that? The seat belt, C-bell. You hear the bell ringing on the cross. Seat belt, C-bell, double cross. And you are the Jesus in between them, being hung on it. Should be your right if you want to drive with a... This is just a basic, common example of your freedoms taken away. Okay? Easy one. Another freedom taken away is you have all these plants grow naturally around the earth. But they're telling you this one is a Schedule 1. This one's a Schedule 2. This one's a Schedule 3. Only we can tell you to use this. Only America's armies can grow the Afghani poppies. So we go in there, take control, heroin production pops up, then we see this fentanyl crisis. So we're going to see all these intertwined workings. And now we see the devil's lettuce coming again, part 2, cannabis, THC's being weaponized. We're going to get into this goofball shit, okay? Because the Israel versus the Israel has all been doing a test on the cannabis in one way, shape, or form. And they tell you that your cannabis can't be tested according to the scheduling or whatever. So, where are they getting their info? And then High Times, you go back and look at it, it's just a propaganda magazine. So this isn't good or bad. Just got to realize what it is. Knowing's half the battle. G.I. Joe. And that G.I. Joe and the hacking and the coffee and the Colombian beans and the District of Columbia and the White House and the drug runners and the cocaine bag left in the White House and all those things are all coming together as you got the Dana White there. And so, and then you got medical cocaine. So it could be somebody's medical cocaine they're doing or whatever. Y'all don't get the same drugs they get sometimes. That's where they're getting like steroids that don't make them have fucking zitty parties and whatever else that we've seen in the gyms and whatever. It's like, dude, the muscles are not worth it that much. Like, and the steroids aren't going to add that much more on to what you can do naturally. So it's not worth all the zit festation going on there. Either way, there is a natural occurrence, and this is partly caused by the foods and drinks and stuff too. And a lot of that can be fixed when you just get back to zero. And that's kind of where we're going on in that nation, is we've been given 1-0. That's hatching the illegal, and the aliens or the Orwellians, and that shit is all going together. And that's where you got 0, and now you got 3 eggs, and you got frozen eggs with the AOC going. And so all these little eggs tying in from one Easter to another Easter, from one bunny to another bunny on your little Chinese calendar. All right, the Chinese, the key, they're taking your key, that's tying into your yin and yang and your magnetisms and your blacks controlling the whites controlling the blacks. And that's where you're going to see where the black men are bringing suppression on the black men. The white men are bringing suppression on the white men. The Mexicans on the Mexicans, the Asians on the Asians, all those kinds of things. All right, you got to bring the balance, and you can't have the whatever over there putting it down on there. That's where you can have, that's where we're being shown this GTA 6 and all that stuff kind of coming into the thing, as you got the 7 candlesticks, the person of Amen, which we're under today, but they've taken your food, drink, vaccines, lights, music, the frequency you hear them, all those types of things. That's all tying into the different candlesticks and the 5 senses of man, and controlling you like a little robot. And so as you live in hell, Jesus has come to conquer hell. He's already conquered it, and he went to heaven, which is in you. All right, and you live in hell, so this is where you got to find the heaven, and the kingdom of heaven is at hand. But they've given you all these demons that Jesus controls. And demons aren't even in the Bible. Demons are tied to intelligence. So you got all this knowledge and truth and intelligence out there, but you're being taught the fucking dumbest shit within the box. As the dumbest shit, you're being taken into the box as the alien culture has already fucking landed, and that box is turned into the cube is turned into the phone. Now you're in that time traveler mechanism. That mechanism is going on as the hijabs and the fucking ninjas are alive, and that 4D trillion or 40 billion, whatever the fuck it is on the national debt is part of that 3D into the 4D. All right, and this connection point sometimes, because you got the 4Ds now, and then the 40 month of Trump coming up, and then the what other was it? I'm having a brain fart. Either way, so as all these things are being gathered and collected, and the oil and these things are being shown, the 40, the all for one, one for all, 4th year of the second coming, the 4D8, all those things, 2028, Trump being 82, flip on the 85, all 128 peace deal, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so as all these things are coming in, the hallway of mirrors, the one-on-one, the Kamala, the Trump, or the Biden, whoever they got coming on, or you might see the tribulation where you see Obama and Trump come out, and then that will push into that third party. Might see multiple parties, might see 7 parties come out, we'll see. The 48 will take us into the 49. That's might be where we see this, the more parties or whatever. The 48 is going to be like a since Trump is doing this, and the 47, the 11, the hallway of mirrors, the enter the dragon and whatever, that's where you're going into the mirror. The Alice in Wonderland, you're seeing the Red Queen there, the cards, that's tying into this thing. You have the Queen in hand, boom, boom, that Matthew McConaughey does, and you get the waves, and okay, so that's where it's all going, and boom, and where we have to understand the 6 years to the 8 years on the woman clothed in the sun, the corona dark sun, all came in as you took the Lord's name in vain. The ribs mentioned in Daniel, 3 ribs times 1 rib, 4 ribs. Okay, so no, not times, but plus, adding on those syllables, all right, the symbols on that drum set for those eardrums. That tie into the 7 on there, and that's why you can't have the drums in the church, but y'all are breaking the law. You got the drums in the church, and the evil spirits are being summoned in to take control of you. Either way, Indiana, 9-day power outage. That connects to the ODD, connects to the Aiden Ross, connecting us to that bikini and that Cybertruck. The Grease Monkey takeover, and either way, so little parable action there. The old Ross pulled out the old gun at the Cowboys and was a rat on one side of another side that took years of investigations. So that's kind of where we're at now, where you got the Aiden Ross and the GTA 6 and the Cybertruck just waiting and whatever else. That seamless steel, you can't fucking scan it or whatever. It's got this, that, and the other, a tracking device and whatever else as the red gamma rays and the rollovers and Princess Diana and all that kind of stuff would all be lining up in flip-flop manners. But either way, it's all coming into a focal point. As we get closer and closer and closer, it's where boom, 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 boom is all coming in. And then there's so... either way, we'll end it here.